Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Niger Canada Girl, and if it's your first time of watching, thank you for joining us. And if you've always been watching, I appreciate all your consistency and your support. Thanks for following my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up at the end if you like the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are yet to. So today guys, I am going to be sharing some tips of some things to look out for when choosing a roommate, if you like, a housemate. It's usually used interchangeably, but basically someone who you'd be living with. So some things to look out for before choosing one. If this is something you'd be interested in, don't go anywhere. So let me start by explaining what a roommate or a housemate is and the sort of people who might be interested in this video. So basically here in Canada, there are different types of living arrangements you can have. You can either live in an apartment, a condo, a townhouse, or a basement. But whichever you decide to live in, there's also the option to live alone or to share a space with someone. So this means the bills will be split. Now, regardless of what option you choose, there are also further options on how you can go about it. So now if you decide to have a roommate, there are two ways it could happen. It could be that you and a friend or you and a friend of a friend decide to get a place together. And you're like, hey, why don't we go rent a 2-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom condo, for example, and then we split the bill equally. Now, for many people, this is the perfect scenario, but a lot of the times your plans might not align. You might not know anyone in particular who you might want to, live with and share bills with. Or at that time when you need a place might not be the same time the people you have in mind are looking for a place. And if you really need to move into a place of your own, the only option or the other option there is reaching out to people who already have a space and are looking for a roommate to share a space with them. Now, this is a very good arrangement for a number of reasons. I know when I first moved to Canada, that was the first sort of living arrangement I had. I had a roommate. It was a condo, and I had a room, and we shared. Actually, it was a 3-bedroom condo. So we were 3 ladies sharing a 3-bedroom condo. We each had our rooms and we shared the common areas like the kitchen, the living room. There were 2 bathrooms. But basically we lived together. While this was an amazing experience for me, my roommate, who's the owner of the house, she was an amazing person. We saw eye to eye on a number of issues, especially in tidiness, cleanliness. She was really chill, really relaxed. I had a wonderful experience living with her. Now, I've had so many people with not so wonderful experiences in the whole roommate or housemate area. However, you might not be completely able to tell who your housemate is before you start living with them if you're choosing one online from places like Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace or any other real estate website. You might not be able to fully tell who they are, but at least I know that there are some tips that might help you decide, if it's something you're ready to get into. There are questions you could ask that would help you decide if it's the right place for you to live in or not. And this is just to avoid further troubles or just further hassles down the line. Now, one of the questions I always advise people ask when house hunting and trying to get a place with a roommate. So someone puts up an ad on Kijiji, for example, and she's like, hey, I have a wonderful 2-bedroom condo and I'm looking for another female to share it with. Let me know if you're interested. And then you send her a message and you're like, hey, I'm interested. And then she invites you to come over and check out the place. Now, here are some of the reasons, some of the things you should ask while looking for that sort of arrangement. The first thing you should ask is, are utilities included? Now, utilities will be things like the internet, the hydro bill, the water bill, and all that. For many arrangements like that, the utility is always factored into the rent. So if, for example, I know in places like Toronto, depending on what part of Toronto and the sort of place, like a condo, for example, it could be anywhere between $1,000 to $1,200 to get a condo sharing arrangement like that. I was lucky, however. I know when I got mine, it was much less than that. If it's an apartment, it could be anywhere between $550 to $1,000, or even less than that monthly. Let's say $500 to $800 for apartments. And for basements, like 2-bedroom basements, it's typically between $500 to $700 monthly as well. Okay, so some of the questions you should ask is, that cost being advertised, does it include utilities, or do I have to pay for hydro, or do I also have to pay for internet? You need to be sure that it's included, utilities are included, just so that you don't expect any surprises later on. Now, typically utilities are included, so this is a question you should ask, so that if they're not included, you can decide if you still want to take it that way, or how much more you'll be expected to pay if utilities are not included. Now, something else you should ask, especially if you drive a car, is there parking? Because you don't want to move in later on and then discover you have to pay for parking, or discover that, parking is not included. You need to make a separate payment or separate arrangement, or even park your car on some other street. So find out if parking is included. If parking is included, great. Find out, do I have to pay for parking? For many places, yes, you might have to pay an extra, maybe 50 to 60 or even 70, or for some people, even $80 extra for parking. But that is entirely up to you, and it also depends on if you drive. So if you have a car, you want to find out if there's parking and how much extra you'd have to pay for parking. Now, something else you need to ask, and I know this sounds really weird, but please ask, are visitors allowed? I have friends who at one time or the other had housemates, like they had just moved in. So by the way, this is a very great arrangement, especially if you just landed Canada, you're still trying to find your feet, you don't have a lot of money yet. There is nothing wrong in having a housemate. It's actually a great experience. You could also use the company. It's really, really, I think I thoroughly enjoyed my time when I had a housemate. It's just that at some point I needed that space to be alone. So trust me, it's actually a great arrangement. So you need to ask, are visitors allowed? I know people who had experiences where the landlord who they lived with, so most times the person who's letting out a place, in many cases is the landlord. Some cases they are not. Sometimes they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't let visitors. And this is after they already started living there. And you're like, wait, what? My friends can't come to visit. Are we in prison? I mean, even prisoners get visitors, right? So this is something you need to verify right from the beginning. Am I allowed to bring visitors? Now, there are levels to this visitors thing. The second question you should ask around the visitors thing is, can I have visitors of the opposite sex? I'm not even kidding, because some people could be like, yeah, you could have visitors, but especially, I think this is really popular with female housemates. Yeah, you could have visitors, but just female visitors. Honey, I don't think you want that sort of arrangement. You should be free to have both male and female visitors. Absolutely free. Now, the third question to ask around this visitors area is, can my visitors sleep over? Because some people might be like, well, your female visitors can sleep over, but your male visitors can't sleep over. Is this something you can live with? If it is, that's absolutely fine. If it's not, you need to get somewhere else. Because for some people, they really don't mind. I don't even plan on having male visitors sleep over. My female visitors could sleep over every now and then. Okay, I'm cool. But if it's something you're not fine with, say you're seeing someone, you have a boyfriend, and you just want that arrangement where they could sleep over if they wanted to, then that is definitely not a place for you. Make sure you ask these questions at the point when, you're negotiating and before committing any funds to that person. Now, you also need to find out if the building has a laundry. Now, here in Canada, not every house, not every building, not every apartment comes with a laundry in it. There are condos that actually have their laundry inside the building. There are also some apartments that have their laundry inside the building. However, a lot of apartments have a central laundry area on a specific floor, mostly the first floor. most times it's the first floor, where every resident can go to that big laundry room and use the laundry, while some don't even have at all. So you have to go pay for laundry. Now, if you're just landing the country, now I'm imagining you probably don't even have a car yet. So how exactly are you supposed to always take all your laundry and maybe take a bus ride for about 15 minutes to the nearest laundromat and then stay there all day and wait for your clothes to wash and then go back home? I feel like that's a lot of stress. It would be much easier if you got a place with a laundry in the unit, and worst case, a laundry in the building, if not in the unit. So you need to find out, is there a laundry somewhere? Is there a laundry in the unit? No. Okay, that's fine. That if it's fine for you. My condo had a laundry, washer and dryer in the unit, which was perfect. And now if they say no laundry in the unit, is there at least a laundry in the building? If the answer is no, you most likely need to look for somewhere else. Now, another question you should have is, you should ask is, do you have access to storage? Now, here in Canada, when we say storage, we're mostly referring to things like shelves, lockers, wardrobes, where you could just put away all your stuff. So in this sort of places, you actually have your own room. And typically your room would most likely have a wardrobe. And that's it. But if you think about it, so you have your room and you have your wardrobe. How about other things that don't fit into your wardrobe? How about some utensils? I know some of these landlords already have utensils you all can share, but you might also have some personal things that do not fit in your wardrobe. Are there other storage areas you could keep your things? Are there is there like a wardrobe for your jacket, like a coat wardrobe, somewhere you could hang your jackets in the winter? Is there any other place you can keep your boxes when you've emptied them, or do they have to pile up in your room? So the type of arrangement I had, the condo actually had a lot of storage, and my housemates allowed us share everything. So we could keep our boxes in the storage on the corridor. In the kitchen, I had my own shelves, I had my own fridge and all that. So, not the entire fridge, but I had a chunk of the fridge I could use. We had 2 fridges actually, just so that we had enough space. So is this something you're fine with? Are you fine with having just your room and your wardrobe? Or would you want access to other storage area? So also find out during while seeing the house, what other storage you'd have access to. And also another question you should ask, or the last question you should ask, is how many months notice do you need to give them before leaving the place? Because here in Canada, you pay something called first and last month. So whenever you're trying to get a place, if for example, you find a housemate and your rent is about $800, you'd actually be paying them $1,600. That's $1,600. Why? You're paying for that month you're moving in, and you're paying for the last month you would live there. So what happens when you're leaving is that during your last month, you don't pay anything because you already paid your first and last month. Now, for many people, if you don't give them a notice, they would hold on to your last month's rent. So this means that you would not be reimbursed while you are leaving, or you would have to pay another fee while you are leaving. So these are things you need to ask. How many months notice? A lot of people are fine with 2 months notice or even 1 month, but you need to make it clear just to avoid any confusion, any hassles, or any strain when you finally decide you're ready to move somewhere else. So guys, these are questions I have put together I feel will be important for you. And I actually came about these questions based on the sort of questions people were asking me in my DMs. So yes, there is nothing wrong in having a roommate for a while or even long term. And it doesn't matter if it's someone you do not know. But already just make sure you have similar values. Make sure that you wouldn't clash on too many things. If you like your space and you're really quiet, obviously you don't want someone who's really loud and plays a lot of loud music. And also just go with your gut. You meet some people sometimes and you just know, because when I finally chose a place to live in, when I first arrived Canada, I had seen 4 other places that day. And the house I chose wasn't the cheapest one. I think it was actually the most expensive of the 3. But there were 2 factors that were it for me. First was proximity to my workplace. It was closer. And the second option was just the vibe I got from my housemate. I liked the energy. I feel like we connected. I could just tell there was just this good energy that I got from her. So you can tell these things when you meet the person, and those will definitely help you decide. I hope this video has been useful. I hope this video has been useful. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it, and please do not forget to hit the subscribe button if you are yet to. Until my next video, stay safe.